shadow in the government's game. Pawn as a child with no face and no name. They stole my past to leave me cold and alone. Always searching for a place I could go home. I was lost in the dark, just a tool in the hand, till she pulled me close and helped me understand. Now the fire inside is starting to rise. I can see the truth through 1,000 lies. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hellhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. In the dead of the night, I can hear the call. All the ghosts of my past scratching through the wall. My eyes change colors, the power has grown. With Crowley the hound, I am never alone. I used to be hollow, a man made of glass, but now I am reclaiming every year that has passed. Every memory is falling right back into place. I know every name and I remember every face. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hell on beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. I ain't running no more, yeah, I'm ready to fight. Gonna settle that debt in the depth of the night. They tried to break me, they tried to erase, but they can't hide the blood from the scars on my face. The veil is thin and the engine is hot. I'm taking back everything that they thought I forgot. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hellhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. I remember it all now. Every single face, I'm calling for you in the dead of the night.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Henry. Tonight, I'm going to tell you a little story about my grandpa that he passed to me. About when he was a young man, he was courting my grandma. She was about 3-4 years older than him, maybe 5 years. My grandpa's mom, she was killed in a train derailment when he was a young boy, so him and his dad lived together in this little Midwestern town. The town still exists, but it's just kind of like a village. Got a real tiny post office and gas station. And at one time there was a chicken plant there. There ain't much there anymore. There's a little park, and the town kind of stretches across the highway. On the right side were the gas station and the biggest part of the town, and then it goes across the highway there, and you go up a hill, and there's train tracks, and on the other side, that's the other part of the town. They call it the east and the west side. I won't say the name of the town, but it wasn't far from the river. Well, Grandpa and his dad, they moved in there, and Grandpa started to work with his dad, and they were just poor people. took all they had to pay the rent and keep food on the table. But they survived. But they walked to work every morning, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday they had off. My grandpa's dad, he was a strict old man. I mean, he was no nonsense. When he said we getting up to go to work, you best get up or he'll come in there and throw you in that bed right in the floor. Well, they was putting in part of the old river road, doing some changes on it, and they got a job helping change that road, make it better and more straight instead of so windy around them bluffs. So they'd walk to work every day, just outside of town there. There was an overpass where the train cut across the highway there and head on north. My grandma and some of her friends, they finally got the pattern down when him and his dad was heading to work. They knew the schedule of the train, so they'd go up there and stand in that overpass, and the ladies back in those days, they wore those sundresses. Come down just right below their knee. My grandma was a wild child. Don't let her shit you. She was. They're both passed on now, but back in her day, she was a wild child. My grandpa kind of quiet back in those days. He didn't know a lot of people there and trying to get to know people. And every day, he told me that there's these crazy girls that would get up there on top of that overpass and they'd sit on the rail. Had like a bridge rail on each side of it. They'd get up there and sit down and hang on to the top of the rail and their legs would dangle off. Well, back in those days, this is early 1900s. You didn't wear shoes. The guys did going to work, but most time you didn't wear the shoes because they only bought your shoes in the spring and then the boots for the fall for winter. Money was tight back in those days. Well, them crazy girls would get up there on top of that bridge and they'd wait for Grandpa and his dad, my great-grandpa, to come down the path there, which is now the road, come down the path there that had been cut and wore down because they'd go from one town to the other town, and they'd walk because there wasn't no road there at that time. And he said, this one particular crazy girl, wild child, she'd be up there hollering all kinds of shit, whistling and fox calling and you name it. Well, Granddad, great-grandpa, he kind of no nonsense, but he knew it was a young girl, and them girls were flirting with my grandpa. He'd lean down and whisper to him sometimes, you better be careful. Them girls get you down here in the old cottonwoods. They'd take advantage of an old country boy. Grandpa, he'd get embarrassed, his face turned red, and shut up, Dad. Just keep walking. Maybe they'll shut up. They was doing the wolf call, oh, at them, whistling, and you name it. Anything to try to get him to turn around and look. He'd keep his head down and keep walking. Well, about 3 months of that, and finally, my grandma was very forward. She got tired of him not noticing. Oh, he noticed all right, but he wasn't going to sit in front of his dad. It kind of embarrassed him. So one day, She sits down there on that path on the edge there waiting. Well, for whatever reason, Great-Grandpa was running late, and Grandpa was heading on to tell the people down there that Great-Grandpa will be along shortly. Don't know what the problem was, I can't remember. But he's walking, and he's looking up, watching that bridge, and he sees the other girls up there, and they're up there just a-laughing, hollering. But he don't see the most mouthy one up there. So he's thinking, phew, I'll make it past here today. He got past that overpass, and my grandma hopped out of them weeds and that brush, scared the living shit out of him. She jumped up, grabbed him by the neck, planted a big old smacker on him before he even knew what happened. Well, you know, a young guy and pretty girl, he wasn't trying to get away, but it did take him by surprise. He expected to be up on top of that damn overpass, that bridge. She goes, and just, what is this? You don't notice me? Yeah, I noticed you. But he said, trying to play nonchalant with my dad, you know. Don't want him poking fun at me. She goes, so you ignore me because your dad there. Well, you going to ask me out? He said, well, you're pretty damn forward there, aren't you? She goes, gotta be. If not, the good one might get away. I see you every day walking down here, and I know you're going down there going to work. So you're a worker. That kind of man I need. Because she said, I'm a hard worker too. I ain't married no lazy man. He said, well, who know you talking about getting married? She said, I'm just saying. I go after what I want. And what I want is for you to take notice, because I've thrown my net out and I caught the fish that I want. And I ain't going to stop until I land this fish. And you're the fish. Very bold. Especially back in those days. He had kind of looked at her, and she goes, well? He goes, I'm going to be late for work. She goes, you're going to be even later if you don't ask me out. She said, you think this is bad? Next time I'll show up down there at work. And I'll be there waiting. So you got two choices. Ask me out. And he goes, and just where will we go? She goes, well, you know they're having a barn dance this weekend. He goes, playing coy, you know. Playing hard to get. I don't know what you're talking about. She goes, don't tell me. I seen you guys stop up there at the old gas station. And it's posted all over the place. Barn dance. And she says, if you want me to, I'll go rip it off the board. There's all kinds of them stapled up all over the place. I'll rip one of them off and hand it to you. He goes, what make you think I want to go out with you? She goes, you didn't pull away when I kissed you, did you? He said, well, you got a point. She goes, and? Okay, smarty britches. Barn dance. She goes, but first, you got to come by my house and get my dad's permission. He goes, woman, just how old are you? She goes, I know how old you are, and I'm 5 years older than you. And said, I don't care. I set my eyes on you, and that's when I'm going to catch. I'm going to catch you. Grandpa's like, okay, exactly where do you live? She told him the address and street to go up there, because she lived up there on the hillside on the other side from where he lived. She goes, if you don't show up to talk to my dad, I'll be at your house tomorrow night. And I'll tell my dad all about you. Or tell your dad all about you, and I'll tell my dad about you. And then you're really going to be up shit creek without a paddle. Grandpa said, I got to go because I'm going to be late. She goes, you better be there after work tonight. Her mom died when she was a little girl, too. Now, just a little backstory on my grandma. She was born on an Indian reservation. Her dad and mom were both full-blooded Indian, Cherokee to be exact. After her mom died, her dad told her, he said, I ain't living like this. The reason I stayed here is because of her. I always wanted to leave this res, as they call it out there. So they covered at night, they left the res and never looked back till they wound up in this small town where they figured they was far enough away that nobody screwed with them. So that's just kind of some backstory about my grandma. My grandpa was a Irishman. Funny as hell. The older he got, the funnier he got, and the ornery he got. Not mean, just ornery. Always telling me dirty jokes. And I remembered every one of them. Maybe someday I'll repeat some of them. You never can tell. So that day he's running to work now. Normally they just walk. He's running because he don't want to be late, because that crazy woman stopped and kept him there. Of course, he probably didn't mind. Because you know how them young boys are. They look at them young girls, even when them young girls don't think they are. There was love in the air, It happens. So he runs and gets there, and he tells the foreman that great-grandpa is going to be a little bit late, had something going on. So that's fine. That night, they blew the big horn, and great-grandpa and grandpa's walking back. Now, you got to keep in mind, my grandpa was scared shitless of the dark. I mean, terrified of the dark. Like night phobia. He'd heard all these guys telling all these ghost stories and stuff, and scared the hell out of him. So they was walking home, and they ain't had no flashlights. But as long as his dad with him, he pretended not to be scared, but he was. Afraid a big old cougar might come out of there, an old booger man might get him, Sasquatch. Who knows? Hell, could have even been the Headless Horseman for all he knew. He just knew there was shit out there that he couldn't see that might decide to take him right off that path. So he was keeping up perfect pace with my great-grandpa. Of course, my great-grandpa was giving him shit about it. Dude, what do you think that little girl's going to think when you don't go out at nighttime, or you do, you're hanging on to her like you're hanging on to me? Turn loose. Whatever's out there, if it gets you in daylight, ugly as you are, it'll turn you loose. If not, it'll have indigestion from eating you. He just laughed. My grandpa didn't think that's funny. He just knew around every corner and around every tree, under every leaf, there might be an old booger come out after him. The more he thought about it, the scareder it made him. Well, they get home, and of course, it's pay night. So they stop there at the little service station there and buy him some things, soda and milk. They pay for their stuff and walk across the highway and go up the street, make the corner there, cross over the railroad tracks, and there's their house. And go in there, and great-grandpa goes, "So you gonna ask that little girl out?" "Oh, hell, Dad. I was on my way to work this morning, and I thought that crazy fool would be up there on top of that bridge. But he said them other girls was up there, keep my attention on them, and I walked a little further, and she popped out of the weeds and jumped up, grabbed me around the neck, put her legs around me, and put a big old smacker on me." He goes, "I bet you wasn't pushing her off, was you?" "Well, no." And he goes, "That means you're probably going to ask her out, aren't you?" "But she made me ask her out. She wasn't going to let me go on to go to work." "Oh, don't give me that shit. Boy, you think I'm that stupid? You think I ain't noticed you turn around looking at her legs when she got them hanging off the bridge up there? What's wrong with you? So when you supposed to go over there?" "Well, I was supposed to be over there by 7 o'clock to talk to her dad." He goes, "Well, I'd advise you not to keep the lady waiting. She might really attack you in these woods. Well, she said if I don't go over there tonight, she'd be over here tomorrow night." And he goes, "And I'll be sure and let her in, too. So you best get your ass cleaned up. Grab the old lantern, and you best get your ass over there and not keep that girl waiting." The old grandpa, he's scared as hell. He gets him some water heated and on the old stove, and he washes it up real good and changes clothes and puts on his best hat. Well, for the special occasion, great-grandpa went in there and got out some bay rum. He goes, I only break this open once a year, New Year's, unless I get a cold. This is a special occasion, boy. You look pretty good, but you gotta smell good. This is how I catch your mama." Old Grandpa put his hand out, and great-grandpa poured some of that bay rum in there, and he said, "Now rub your hands together. Rub that on your face, on your hair." He said, "Then slick that hair back and get that hat." He said, "Did you polish your shoes?" He said, "I ain't got time." "Well, at least make sure there ain't no dust and dirt on them. Make yourself look presentable." Well, Grandpa was so nervous, he started getting the shakes a little bit. So great-grandpa said, "Hey, I'm going to send you with one more thing. Just calm your nerve, boy." He goes in there and in the bedroom, and under the bed he pulls out this box, and in that box is a big old jug of real original moonshine that he'd been making under the coverness of dark. So he poured some in a cup, and he goes, "Here, drink this down real quick." My grandpa looked at that, and he sniffed, and he's like, "Is that what I think it is?" And he goes, "Yep, it's triple X. It'll pull the hair right off a cat." He said, "Don't spit in the grass, 'cause you'll kill the grass." So Grandpa puts that to his lip and throw his head back and swallow that down, and all of a sudden it was like somebody threw a stick of dynamite in his stomach and set it on fire at the same time. He coughed, belched, snorted, probably farted a few times. He got done and, "You feel any better?" "Not yet." "Oh, Granddad, he poisoned another cup." He said, "Here, that's all you're getting. Hell, you won't be able to find your way home." So he chugged that one down, and he goes running out the door. That's the last that Great-Grandpa seen of him for a few hours. He didn't run because of the moonshine. He ran because he was scared shitless of the dark. He was trying to make it down there to the road where the pole light was. Well, he's got that old carbide light. Now, if you know anything about carbide, I'll tell you. Remember them little worm things you get in them boxes? Had like 4 or 6 of them to a box around the 4th of July. And you light them and they turn into a great big long-looking snake or a worm. That's kind of like what carbide looked like. Well, them lights was dangerous as hell. A lot of people got their damn head blowed off or got burnt. It fastened onto your hat. And it had a little canister, and you undone that canister, and you undone another canister you had, and you took one of them or 2 of them out, and you put in that on your light, and you screw it down. You always wanted to make sure that your fingers wasn't damp, or it wasn't raining. Water hits that carbide, that shit will explode like dynamite. Kind of like nitroglycerin. Blow your goddamn fingers off. Then you light it with a striker, and this flame shoots out like a little torch. And then behind it's kind of a reflector deal. That's why they called it a lamp. They were really bright for their day, but they were dangerous as hell. I used to use one coon hunting when I was a kid. I was just lucky. If you noticed, I still have all my digits. I still have my head. But he headed over there, got to the pole lights, he turned her off. Carried a striker in his pocket. He's winding around the road and headed toward the bluff where she lived there against the bluff. As soon as he gets up there, the old man's out there with a lantern hanging on a latch. He's splitting firewood with an axe. He sees my grandpa coming, and he just beat the hell out of that wood. My grandpa walked up there and, "Sir, you got a moment?" The guy picked up his axe and sitting there running his finger across the blade. He said, "I think if I hit this one more lick, I could apply a circumcise a gnat. So what you need?" He goes, "Well, I won't use their names." He said, "Your daughter?" He goes, "What about my daughter?" "Well, sir, I want to know if I can ask your permission to take her to the barn dance tomorrow night." He goes, "You sure waited long enough, didn't you? Cutting her kind of close?" He goes, "Well, I work every day." "You're new in town?" Yes, sir, I'm new in town." "How'd you run across my daughter if you work all the time?" Well, now, what the hell is he going to say? He couldn't think of nothing to say other than the truth. "Wait till I see her on my way to work. Her and her friends are up on the overpass." He goes, "Yep, that'd be my daughter." "You gonna be good to her? You gonna respect her?" See, you gotta remember, this is the old days. It ain't like now where the guy runs out there and beep, beep. No, you gotta go ask permission. You best not be late. picking them up or bringing them home. They take you out there behind the woodshed, kick your ass for you. And then probably threaten to use that axe to circumcise you. You treated them with respect. You kept distance between you. You behaved yourself. Until you get that ring on her finger. Then it was every man for himself. Well, he'd go into the list of rules, and my grandpa sitting there, yes, sir, yes, sir. And he goes, well, what do you got to say for yourself? What do you mean, sir? You think you could support my daughter? He goes, well, we ain't talking about getting married. And he goes, well, what the hell you want a quarter for? Quarter? I'm asking if I can ask her to the dance. Same thing. You think I'm going to let her just go out with you one time? You make up your mind, boy. Right here, right now, or you trying to walk away. If I catch you bothering her after you walk away, I'll come to your house with this axe and I'll circumcise you real good. Right up to your hip. Granddad, he's scared. Scared the hell out of him. It's a do or die situation. He's like, well, I just wanted to ask her out on a date, and then, yeah. He goes, yeah, what? Well, it'd be a long-term arrangement. Son, what do you mean by a long-term arrangement? Well, we had to court for a while, and then, yeah, we would get married. He goes, do I need to test you? And he goes, test me? What do you mean? He said, well, the test is, I back you up over there against that cottonwood tree, and I take and walk off about 50 paces. I close both eyes, and I throw this axe. If you flinch, that means you're a liar. Do I need to test you? Grandpa will take a big swallow. He's like, no, I promise. That's good enough for me. You hungry? Grandpa's like, sure. He said, well, she's in there cooking something to eat. I'll go in and tell her that I give you permission to take her to the dance. But you best behave yourself. My grandpa's thinking the whole time, well, what about her? She's the honorary one. She'd want to jump on my arm and kiss me. That right there in public. Broad daylight. So he goes in, and my grandma's in there cooking. He goes, sis, got a visitor here. He was out there telling me that he wants to ask you to the barn dance tomorrow night. I laid down the ground rules. You still want him to ask you out? If not, I'll take him out there and circumcise him right out there. Dad, will you leave him alone? He said, well, boy, you better get to it. Clock's ticking. I'm going to have to go in and hit the hay before long. I need to know whether I'm going to be circumcising you tonight or if it's another night. So you best get on with it so I can go to sleep. So he asked her to the barn dance, and hell, she agreed earlier. But, it's formal. You got to ask in front of the daddy, see? That's the way the country thing's done. Well, she said, sure. He said, well, I'll bring the buckboard over. Dad'll let me use it, and I'll pick you up about 7 p.m. She said, that'll be okay. Her dad looked at him and said, boy, if you're 1 minute late, you can be early, but if you're 1 minute late, I'm going to thrash your ass, just so you know. Then I'm going to circumcise you. Now, he's getting scared as shit. Listen, this old man threatened to circumcise him. He done had that done when he was born. He's getting worried. They stand there and eat, and of course time flies, and my grandpa is scared about this old man going to circumcise him, and then wondering what this girl's going to do to him at the barn dance. He's in a catch-22. Well, they get done eating, and he's lost track of time. Well, his hands got to sweating, and her dad walked with him outside, and he goes, you know, I could turn the old billy goat loose, watch him give you chase. You gonna be good? Yeah, I'm gonna be good, sir. He said, get your ass on out of here, and don't forget, tomorrow night, you better be here a minute or right at 7, because I'm going to set my clock, my pocket watch. You ain't here, you know what's going to happen, boy. Don't break my little girl's heart. So they, no sir, I won't. He said, okay, we understand each other. He put his big old bear paw out there and shook my grandpa's hand, and you keep your word, boy. She's a good girl. A little rough around the edges, but she's a good girl. She'll take care of you. Grandpa said, yes, sir. He turns around and starts down the driveway there, and periodically there'd be a light. He'd walk fast from one light to the next. Well, there was a stretch down there where there wasn't no lights. And that stretch was probably about 3 city blocks. He hadn't been very much in that side of town. He is so scared, he starts picking up pace, and he goes from a speed walk to a jog to a run to a full-on dead run, trying to get to that next light. And he hears something coming behind him. There was all kinds of shit running through his head. He'd run and he'd hear something behind him running. He got to that pole light and he stopped like old Ichabod Crane. He's looking around. What the hell is that noise? Goddamn booger trying to get me. He don't hear nothing. So he starts walking and he hears it walking. What the shit is that? So he decides he's going to run to the next light. He takes off running. He hears something behind him veer off of the road into the brush, hit the fence, and fall down into the ditch. Whatever it was must have fell over because it was trying to get up, and Grandpa, he wouldn't stop and look. Yeah, fuck this. He run all the way. Didn't even look when he crossed the road. The highway there. He just shot on across like a bullet. Up the hill, crossed the tracks, slid in the loose gravel, skinned his knee up, skinned his elbows, ripped his shirt, lost his hat, reached down and grabbed it, throwed it back on. He's dead running. Well, great-grandpa was still up there in the kitchen, probably cutting some ham. Grandpa hit that door and flung that thing open, fell across the floor. Granddad's looking out the door like, "Hell's after you, boy?" "Oh, Daddy, you wouldn't believe it." He said, "That man's crazy. I thought his daughter's crazy. He's crazy too, but I gotta keep my word. He's gonna circumcise me. And he said, I leave there, and I know he's sick to ghost on me because something chasing me from polite to polite. He said, boy, your over imagination getting away with you. See, sometimes it'll happen. You know, your mind start playing tricks on you. Gotta be careful of that. He said, well, can I use your buckboard and the plow horse to take her to the barn dance? He goes, I was planning on going too, because he said, I heard there's going to be some older ladies over there, and I might go there and see if I can find me one to dance with. He said, but you two can have the seat. I'll ride in the back. He said, that way I make sure you go up there and knock on the door, and you escort her and help her up on the buckboard. I won't say nothing. Okay. He said, but we might stay late. He goes, well, if you decide to stay late, I'll just take the buckboard and go on home. Y'all can just walk. He said, but if I get lucky, I won't be coming home anyway. So come the night of the dance, and both of them in there getting all slicked up, putting their bay of rum on and drinking a couple glasses of moonshine to settle both their nerves. Grandpa, he's in there polishing his boot with that old horsehair brush and a little bit of wax. Great Grandpa didn't have much hair on top of his head. He kind of had that horseshoe thing going on, so he could just take a comb around the side and be done. My grandpa, he had a full head of hair. He'd be there for a few minutes combing that out. So they got ready to head out the door, and Great Grandpa said, wait a minute. I forgot my personality. So he goes in there in his bed and pulls out that big old jug. Grandpa said, well, we better have one more shot of that. My nerve's a little bit shot. He said, one more slug, and that's it for you. You be so drunk you forget where the hell you're at. You'll swim across the river and be over there in no man's land and them damn weeds rolling around by the cattails. So they throw it up on her shoulder and pop the cord out of her, put her up there and drinking along. After a couple gurgles, Great Grandpa pulled a jug and he said, that's enough for you, boy. Save the rest for your old daddy here. That stuff don't grow on trees. I gotta make that. So they head out the driveway and turn to the left and start go down a little grade and flattens out. They go across tracks and everything's going smooth. They went across what eventually would be the highway, and now they're on the other side of town where Grandma and them guys living at, and they go up there, and Great Grandpa gets off and sets his jug down, and I'll make sure the horse stays here and don't take off. Hate to see you kids have to walk. Grandpa goes up, knocks on the door, and there my grandma is. Nice little dress on, and little pair of slippers. Had a ribbon in her hair, and her dad must have found some peonies out there, and he put one there in the top of her dress. She had one in her hand, and he said, those real? She said, yeah. She said, this one here's mine, and here. She poked that there in his shirt. And she said, this flowers are identical. That means you're with me. Any of them there wildcats in there better keep their hands clean, or I'm going to clean their plow. They better stay away from my man. He just kind of smiles at her, and they say goodbye to her dad, and he goes, you remember what I told you, boy? You better be back by 10 o'clock. I'll circumcise you out there by the cottonwood tree. He said, I'll keep the bowl of flour ready for when you get back. I'll make sure that knife, that old axe is good and sharp. Just in case you're late, you pull any shenanigans. They go out there, and Grandpa helps her up on the buckboard, and she gets scooted over there, and he goes around and climbs up on the other side, and Granddad hands him the reins, and Granddad tipped his hat at which would be my grandma later. He said, I'll just jump on the back. Never know I'm here, I won't say a word. He goes and climbs on the buckboard, and all of a sudden you hear, he pours that old corn cob out of that damn jug, flicked it up on his shoulder, and all you hear is glug, 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 glug. So they turn the horses around and head down the road, and they heading south. They had probably about 2 miles to go, and then there was a big open field, and the back part of that old field was a great big huge barn, and that's where the barn dance was. They'd strung some candles and lanterns up and put a bunch of sawdust on the floor, and there was a band a picking and people dancing and guys standing around drinking moonshine, getting shit-faced, swapping coon hunting stories, about the deer they missed last year and the ones hanging on their wall. Everybody's having a good time. It's just a right down hoedown. Literally a hoedown. That's what they called them. And there was people scattered around, And for the teenagers and the little kids, there was punch. Then there was this great big, huge giant bowl. And you know that one of them old men, or each one of them, go along and spike it. That was off limit to the kids. So, they got them some punch, and they was feeling the music, and some of their friends come over and started talking, and some of her girlfriends come over and started talking, and next thing you know, another song started. And she goes, I don't mean to be a party pooper, guys, but me and my man is going out there on the dance floor, and we're dancing to this song. This is our song. He said, well, I'm with the lady, whatever she says. They go out there and they cutting them a hell of a rug. Well, next thing you know, their friends find partners, and they're out there cutting a rug. Hell, there's everybody out there. Old people, young people, little kids. They just having them one hell of a time. Well, after that dance, they decided to go have a seat for a minute. Finish they punch, have some cake, and some of the boys that Grandpa started trying to get to know were like, hey, come on, come here. Like, yeah, what? Come out here. So them boys, they all went out there, and some of them were smoking cigarettes, and some of them were smoking cigars. Then somebody had snuck some of that Triple X punch and brought out. So now they were smoking and drinking. Do you know what that does to a quiet person? It winds them up like a 10-day clock. after about 3 or 4 glasses of this spiked punch with this here triple X moonshine in it, I mean, this shit was stripped of paint right off a truck. Peeled the hair right off a mule. Killed the damn grass like Roundup. Like, hey, we better get back in there. They're getting ready to start another set. Now, these boys are wound up now. But my grandpa started getting a little loose, you know, a little bold, because he had some jug courage in him. He runs in there and grabs my grandma by the hand, and he said, "Come on, old woman, let's go." They hit that dance floor, and from the way he talked, and she didn't disagree, because she was listening over in her chair while she pretended like she was sleeping. She wasn't. She was listening to the story that was true. She didn't say no. All she did was sort of kind of a half-ass smile on her face. Like there was probably more to it they wasn't telling. Which I didn't need to hear none of that. They go out there and they're cutting a rug, and they danced and danced, laughed. Grandma figured, but see, back in those days, you know, you didn't point out their imperfections, so to speak. Kind of like the Baldwin sisters, you know. They never called it moonshine. They would call it the recipe. Called having proper manners, honor, and dignity. But she knew something was up, that something had happened, because he went from being that quiet little church mouse to dragging her out there on that dance floor, and he wasn't letting no grass grow under his feet, and they never did take a seat the rest of the night. Well, Granddad must have found somebody, because somewhere he disappeared with a lady friend. Must have found an old widow woman. And he must have left with her, because he didn't say nothing. They seen him one time dancing with this widow lady, and then all of a sudden, a couple hours later, he gone. The old wolf probably went back to her den. That's probably where he went. So Grandpa, he didn't care. He was feeling good. Had him some liquid courage. Had him a pretty girl. He was having him a good time. Well, after a few hours, the band said, "You know, we hate to say it, but it's 9 o'clock, and we're going to play one more song before we say goodbye, and we'll see you at the next dance. Come see us again." So they played one more set, and they danced that dance, and got done. They got them some punch to go and cake. They walked out there, and Grandpa helped Grandma up on the buckboard and handed her a plate, you know, with 2 pieces of cake on it. And puts the reins up there and releases the brake there on the side of the wagon, and turned the horse around, and they head back toward home. Back then, it was just no dirt path. Now it's a highway. Now they had about 2 miles to go to get home. Grandpa, he wasn't thinking about the darkness and the booger men in it. He was feeling his oldies, so to speak. And they're talking and they're carrying on, and Grandpa's over there making noises, and Grandma's got a hold of him, leaned on his shoulder, and just enjoying the night and each other's company. Well, they see the lights of the town up there, and Grandma goes, "If you won't tell, I won't tell." He goes, "Well, what are you talking about? What do you mean you ain't gonna tell if I don't tell?" She goes, "You know if you don't kiss me." I'll tell my dad some god-awful stuff and he'll circumcise you. He said, you're just trying to get me in trouble. If I kiss you, I'm going to get in trouble. If I don't kiss you, you're going to get me in trouble. She goes, pick your poison. So, they both leaned into each other and kissed, and they got talking a little bit. He made the turn there and headed up side street to her house, and got there, and there was her dad sitting out there, the axe laying between his feet, got his old pocket watch. He said, boy, you got her home at 10 till. At least you're a man of your word. Guess I can put the axe away. He said, you have a good time, sis? She said, real good time. Of course, my grandpa was still feeling tipsy. He's like, don't worry. It was all kosher. Nothing happened. We just had a good time. He goes, so I assume that I'll be seeing you around here. He goes, well, if that's all right with you and it's all right with her, yeah. He goes, I like you, boy. That'd be all right. So my grandpa climbs off the buckboard and walks over and takes my grandma's hand. And she steps down a little bit, and he puts his hand around her waist, and she puts her hand on his shoulder, and he lifts her and sets her down. Her dad turned around to go in the house, and he shut the door behind him. She goes, one more kiss for the road. So he leaned in, and they both kiss, and she takes off running to the house, and she goes, and you best come back. I'll come find you. Grandpa's like, I'll see you. So he goes out there, but see, forget. It's dark. He stumbles out there and puts the reins up there on the seat, climbs up on the buckboard. He get them reins in hand, let that brake off the wheel there, and smack a horse on the ass with them reins, and let's go. And the old house started walking away. Now they're going down this side street. Grandpa said he didn't hear nothing, there wasn't no hole in the road, but he heard something make a thud, and he felt it on that buckboard seat. And he sat there, and all of a sudden he heard clump, clump, clump. Now he's scared, turned around and looked behind him. He's wondering, did something jump on this thing, or did we hit a small chug hole? So he give him a little more rein, and the horse pick up a little speed. And he hears something back there in the back of the buckboard stumbling around. Now he's really scared. He don't want to turn around and look, and he smacked that horse again. Get it, come on! The horse picks up a little more speed. And they go around these corners and kind of dirt and a little bit of gravel, and wagon's kind of sliding a little bit, and Grandpa, he's kind of tipsy drunk, and he wobbling like old Cat Ballou. All of a sudden he feels something hit him in the back, feel like somebody hit him with a ball bat. Now he's standing up on the seat, and he's hollering, get it. And a horse run for all he's worth. They come to the main road down there, which is now a highway. Back then it was just a dirt road. The horse went across all right, but it missed the other side, and needless to say, the wagon kind of went down off the edge there, and the horse was trying to hold it. It's all the horse can do to hold that. My grandpa started to climb off, and he's looking around like, what the hell was that in that wagon? So now he's thinking it's a ghost. So he grabs the reins up there, and he's leading that horse, and that horse pulls the wagon up there. Well, he broke one of the wheels. It's kind of wobbly. So he thinks he better walk, just in case that damn wheel finished breaking. He's going to tell your dad about it, and they're going to get that thing fixed. So they're walking up the driveway, and he hears something way off in the distance. Sounds like it's going away from him. Kind of making a neighing noise, you know. Bah. Well, hell with that wheel. He was going to run because he just knew that the booger was after him again. So he started trying to get that horse to run with him. And next thing you know, that damn wheel come off. And now it's leaned and one side's dragging. Grandpa's like, fuck that wheel. They run ass back to the house. Put the buckboard up there, close as he can get it, and unhook the horse and give him a little feed and water, and he went running in the house, and he, thank God Dad ain't here. So he go in and go to bed, and next morning, Granddad come home. Seen that damn buckboard with a broke wheel. It's a good thing he had a good time, and he was still drunk. Otherwise, he might have kicked my grandpa's ass. But anyway, next night, he gonna go see my grandma. He plumb forgot about that goddamn goat. He had to walk because he fucked up the buckboard. So he stayed over a little too late flirting with Grandma, and Grandma flirting with him. The old rip. He leaves that night about 9:30, gonna go home, and something starts chasing him. And in his confusion, he misses his turns and ends up at the other end of town. He went way out of his way. And this spook was right on his ass. Every so often it bumped him. He run and run and run till he just finally his body just said, fuck it. Folded up and he fell. When he rolled over, there was that damn billy goat standing there over top of him. From that day forward, he was never scared of the dark anymore, because he said he could have had a damn heart attack. He said, better off not to be scared and have a damn heart attack. But he did get the girl in the end. He married her, and she became my grandma. And that's the story about how they met, and how he thought it was over a bugger, and it was a goddamn goat, what it was, screwing with him. It was her goat. She probably sicked it on him. Well, y'all have a good night, and I'll see you on the next one. Good night. Thanks. Give me a thumbs up, a like, leave a message, and I'll talk to you in the next one. This is Henry. Good night.